Do you believe it's appropriate for any social media personality to influence personnel decisions in your department? Yes or no?
I believe your time is up, Senator.
Oh, it is not up to you to tell me when my time is up. So, Secretary Hegseth, given the rise in anti-Semitic violence, hate crimes in our nation, and to show that the Trump administration, your administration, will you dismiss Ms. Kingsley from her role as a U.S. military spokesperson today? Yes or no?
Again, that's why I referenced the context and characterization.
Well, we'll send you the quote,
I've worked
sir.
directly with her. She does a fantastic job.
Were you consulted regarding General Hawk's dismissal? Yes or no?
Well, Senator, I would not advise believing everything you read in the media.
Mates on both sides. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We take care of each other. And again, thank you, Chairman Wicker, Ranking Member Reed, for holding this hearing. Mr. Secretary, we have a short amount of time, so I'm just going to ask a few simple questions, and I would just appreciate if, for some of them, you would just answer yes or no. And so, Secretary Hegseth, would you agree that every senior official in the Department of Defense must reflect the values and conduct that our service members must uphold and our citizens expect?
Senator, we want to uphold the highest possible standards.
I'll take that for a yes. So would you also agree then that anti-Semitism and anti-Semitic conspiracy theories have no place in our government or military? Yes or no?
They should not.
Thank you. So would you also agree that anyone who has posted, and I'm going to quote, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories lifted right out of a neo-Nazi playbook, end quote, shouldn't be anywhere near a position of power? Yes or no?
Since I don't believe the characterization of many officials in the news media, I would need to see precisely what's being characterized.
But generally, would you not say that if we thought something was coming out of a neo-Nazi playbook, it doesn't have any place in our Department of Defense? Now, Secretary Hegseth, the quote that I just read you was referencing Ms. Kingsley Wilson, the DoD press secretary. It's a direct quote from her, who my Republican colleagues on this committee have also expressed alarm over due to her comments. In fact, one colleague said, and I'm going to quote again, obviously I don't agree with her comments. I trust the Pentagon will address this, end quote. However, in the months since, not only have you not addressed these anti-Semitic comments, you have promoted Ms. Wilson. This seems to be at odds, honestly, with President Trump's commitment, very public commitment to combat anti-Semitism, which you just said you two agreed with. So, Secretary Hegseth, given the rise in anti-Semitic violence, hate crimes in our nation, and to show that the Trump administration, your administration, does have a zero-tolerance policy for anti-Semitism, will you dismiss Ms. Kingsley from her role as a U.S. military spokesperson today, yes or no?
Again, that's why I referenced the context and characterization.
Well, we'll send you the quote,
I've worked
sir.
directly with her. She does a fantastic job, and there's any suggestion that I or her or others are party to anti-Semitism is a mischaracterization attempting to win political
quote,
points.
Sir, and I'm going to
Senator,
say that
you're
your
attempting to win political points on the backs of mischaracterizing the statements of a member of my department, and I'm not going to stand for that.
You are not a serious person. You are not serious about rooting out, fighting anti-Semitism within the ranks of our DoD. It's despicable. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I'm going to move on to General Hawk. This is not an inexplicable dismissal of General Hawk. He serves as both director of the National Security Agency, commander of U.S. Cybercom. It's deeply concerning, raises significant questions about the decision-making process, its potential consequences. Public reports indicate that the removal of General Hawk, who has served his country proudly, has been influenced by social media influencer, a personality on social media, Laura Loomer, spreads conspiracy theories. She's been denounced even by Republicans. And the idea is that any leaders within our agencies responsible for our nation's security, somebody would be dismissed based on the advice of a social media influencer is alarming, to say the least. It's surely not how we should be running our military. So were you consulted regarding General Hawk's dismissal, yes or no?
Well, Senator, I would not advise believing everything you read in the media. And I'm consulted on every single decision.
Okay,
I'm the
so
decision maker for the department, and we all serve at the pleasure of the president. And we have the prerogative to make those decisions the best for the country, and we did that.
Did you personally approve Mr. Hawk's dismissal, yes or no?
Anyone coming or going at the Defense Department, especially at that level, would ultimately be a decision made by me, and I stand behind that.
Did you personally relieve him? Did you personally relieve him? Yes or
Anyone
no?
at that level
You did,
who is
so that's a
relieved
yes.
would be relieved by the Secretary of Defense.
Was there a specific justification for General Hawk's dismissal? Was there a specific justification for General Hawk's dismissal?
Ma'am, we all serve at the pleasure of the president, and the president deserves the type of commanders and advisors that he thinks will best equip him to accomplish the mission.
Did you discuss General Hawk's dismissal with Laura Loomer prior to his removal?
I don't discuss who I talk about anything with, but ultimately this is my decision, and he serves at the pleasure of the president, and that's why he's no longer there.
So do you believe it's appropriate for any social media personality to influence personnel decisions in your department, yes or no?
I believe your time is up, Senator.
Oh, it is not up to you to tell me when my time is up.
Well, the time
And I am going to
senator.
say, Mr. Secretary, you're either feckless or complicit. You're not in control of your department. This is unserious. It is shocking. You're not combating anti-Semitism within your ranks. It's a dangerous and pivotal time in our nation's history. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back. And I don't appreciate the smirk, sir. You are the Secretary of Defense.
What you just watched in this exchange isn't just a senator questioning a defense secretary. It's something much bigger. It's an elected official trying to protect the values of a diverse nation, and a defense secretary who seems more committed to protecting the political ecosystem around Donald Trump than the integrity of the Department of Defense. Senator Jacky Rosen opens her questioning with something simple and reasonable, basic standards. She's not diving into political tricks or grandstanding. She's establishing a foundation that the people entrusted with America's most powerful institutions should uphold the same values we expect from the men and women who serve under them: respect, integrity, a zero-tolerance stance for hate and extremism. But right from the start, Secretary Hegseth avoids giving direct answers. This isn't accidental. It's a pattern. Because a direct yes would hold him accountable to the next question, and Rosen knows it. She walks him step by step to a point where he must either condemn extremism or expose the double standards inside the Trump administration. Then she brings up Kingsley Wilson, the Pentagon's own press secretary, someone who had publicly shared anti-Semitic conspiracy theories lifted directly from neo-Nazi rhetoric. Not subtle dog whistles, not vague insinuations. We're talking word-for-word extremist propaganda. And this isn't some partisan accusation. Republicans on the committee themselves expressed concern over her behavior, the kind of bipartisan alarm that is rare in today's Congress. But instead of accountability, instead of discipline, instead of reflection, Hegseth promoted her. This is where the hearing shifts from uncomfortable to alarming, because Rosen is asking a question rooted in moral clarity. Why is someone amplifying hate being elevated into a position of authority at the Pentagon, especially at a time when anti-Semitic violence in America is surging? And Hegseth's response? He attacks her. He claims she's trying to score political points. He insists her concerns are unserious. He tries to reframe a moral issue, the fight against hate, as a partisan weapon. But Rosen isn't rattled. She's focused, and she moves to the next issue, which in many ways is even more dangerous. She brings up General Hawk, the head of the NSA and U.S. Cyber Command, abruptly fired from one of the most sensitive positions in the entire government. This role oversees America's cyber defenses, intelligence operations, digital warfare capabilities, the kind of job that requires stability, expertise, and credibility. But instead of a national security explanation, public reporting links the firing to input from Laura Loomer, a far-right conspiracy theorist, a social media provocateur, someone condemned by mainstream conservatives, removed from multiple platforms for hate content, and widely dismissed as an extremist fringe voice. The idea that this person, a private conspiracy influencer, might have had influence over the removal of a top U.S. cyber commander should terrify anyone who cares about national security. Rosen asks if Hegseth approved the dismissal. He dodges. She asks if he personally relieved him. He dodges again. She asks if Loomer influenced the decision. He refuses to answer. And then, in a moment that reveals just how fragile his composure is, Hegseth tries to cut her off, tries to tell a sitting U.S. senator that her time is up. That's when Rosen delivers the line that defines this entire hearing. You're either feckless or complicit. That's not hyperbole. It's an assessment. Because either the defense secretary doesn't know who is influencing major decisions, which would mean he isn't in control of his own department, or he does know and refuses to admit it, because transparency would expose a deeply troubling relationship between political appointees and extremist online influencers. And then comes the closing moment, the moment that resonated with viewers across the political spectrum. I don't appreciate the smirk. That smirk wasn't a simple reaction. It symbolized something: a dismissal of legitimate concern, a disregard for rising hate, an indifference toward the integrity of the military, a refusal to take extremist infiltration seriously. Senator Rosen's message beneath the words was clear: you are the Secretary of Defense. Act like it. This hearing wasn't about theatrics. It was about whether the people who guide our national security are being chosen based on qualifications or based on loyalty to conspiracists, influencers, and political agendas. It was about whether the military is being run by professionals or by the whims of personalities far outside the chain of command. And it was about whether America's leadership still understands the difference between public service and political servitude.